YouTubers beware. Beginning December 10th, your channel could be removed, access revoked, and effectively banned at the sole discretion of YouTube, which of course is owned by Google.
This is 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices, and we're not ignorant of the devices of the physical counterpart to the spiritual demon Satan, you Edomites, more specifically the elites of you Edomites, such as the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, who are running scared right now because you can clearly see that the nation of Israel is waking back up and returning to their power, Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, and also that these prophecies are popping off. So now you're doing anything you can to take this word off the internet and then eventually come after the men of the Lord on the highways and byways, but it's all for naught. As it says in 2 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 8, for we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. By you Edomites coming after this word and further bringing about the famine of the word, you're only further fulfilling prophecy and hastening your downfall. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Ba'ashim, Rakah Kodash, Barakatom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders, the great millstone who ruled and teach well, and peace and salutations to Ya'akim out there pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Raya with another video. And as we saw from the beginning of that clip from that video on RT America, YouTube's tightening its belt and is about to purge more videos and channels off its platform for BS reasons, such as particular channels and videos not making a profit for the platform. But we know what the real reasoning behind it is, because we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. It's to come against the Hebrew Israelites, specifically the men of the Lord, chiefly GMS or Great Millstone that has this 100% truth. Because as I just said, these elites can see that these prophecies are popping off and that Israel's waking back up. And they understand the scriptures and know that when Israel starts calling back to their power, that whatever kingdom's ruling at the time is going to come to an end. And they also understand that they're Edomites and what the fate of the Edomites is after they're taken out of power permanently. 1,000 years of hardcore bondage and slavery before their permanent eradication. And they clearly don't want that. But you sincere Akim shouldn't be getting shook by this. You should actually be rejoicing at this, because this means that we're closer and closer to Yahushai HaMashiach, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ returning. And also we're closer and closer to the mandatory implementation of the mark of the beast, which is the microchip implant, which is going to be the final nail in Esau's coffin. And the brother from the New York camp, whose page is titled GMS Awakening 144, made a really good point. With all that information on ID 2020 coming out dealing with the microchip implant, it would make sense for Esau Edom to come after our channels now. So when they really roll out that microchip implant, people are going to look for information but won't be able to find it. And the title of this video is YouTube Puts Profit Over Content, Shuts Down Channels Not Commercially Viable.
A new terms of service was sent out by the video platform just a few days ago, and in it, there's a line that reads, YouTube may terminate your access or your Google account's access to all or part of the service if YouTube believes in its sole discretion that provision of the service to you is no longer commercially viable.
And we don't monetize our videos because we don't do this for filthy lucre's sake or fame. We do this for that spiritual currency, to wake up the elect and also to make our calling and election sure to be a part of that elect number. And also, this word isn't commercially viable to Esau Edom's system. It actually condemns his system and is bringing it down. This is Matthew 24, verse 14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations. And it's mainly been done by GMS, which has camps in the United States, in South America, in Canada, in Africa, in the United Kingdom, in Europe, Australia, the Philippines, you name it. And that's just the camps we can see because the brothers record themselves and put it on the internet. There are plenty of camps out there we don't see because they don't record themselves and go on the internet. And then shall the end come, the end of this world, the end of Esau Edom's rulership, and the beginning of the rulership of Jacob, the kingdom of heaven.
Ominous words there. So for more on this, let's turn to investigative journalist Ben Swan. Okay, Ben, so that sounds kind of sketchy to me.
It's very sketchy.
YouTube gets to be the sole decision maker, or in the words of George W. Bush, the decider,
right,
on whether or not someone's channel can stay up.
Sure.
But
which they've always been.
How do they define, though, commercially viable?
Well, that's what's interesting about this. The terms of service, and by the way, YouTube had sent out an email to content creators previous to this that kind of laid out some of the new terms of service. This was interestingly omitted from that email. It was not included in there. And so now that it's been spotted, it's getting a lot of attention, and YouTube's like, it's not a big deal. It's a very big deal. And the reason it's a big deal is because essentially what YouTube is saying is that if your channel does not make money, we can take it down because we can't advertise on it. Okay, that's the first issue. But the second issue is, and this is what no one else is talking about, is that YouTube has been on a mission essentially for the last couple of years of demonetizing channels, right? Mm-hmm. They don't outright ban channels, but they demonetize them, essentially saying that the content on your channel is not suitable for advertisers. Well, when you start getting those little flags on your channel that essentially say that your content, and by the way, my channel constantly gets these, that your content is not suitable for advertisers, not because it's violent, not because it's hateful, but because you talk about things that maybe their mainstream advertisers like pharmaceutical companies might not like. Now you're not suitable for advertisers. Well, now they've taken it a step further to say, and this is the way I'm reading this, if your channel is not suitable for advertisers, then we can take it down.
We're just going to
delete it completely.
So, like you said, they're saying, it's not a big change. A YouTube spokesperson claims essentially that they're just making these tweaks to the TOS. They're not changing the way the platform works or how they collect data or changing any settings.
True.
But this broad language, provides an opportunity, Ben, for them to clamp down on free speech, doesn't it?
Well, it absolutely does. And they're right when they say we're not changing any, access to the site. We're not really changing any of the rules. It basically operates the way it always has. But what they are changing is the expectation. And here's the expectation. When YouTube came along years ago, over a dozen years ago, the early adopters of YouTube were people who would go on there and say, look, I can't create content in order to, put this on broadcast television.
Right.
That's why it was called YouTube, right? The whole idea was you can create a channel and you can create content.
Everybody
it can be funny, silly, serious, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And you can make these channels. What's interesting is since Google has bought it and the kind of the process Google has been in now for some time, not only do they significantly restrict channels, but they also have terms of service that make it increasingly difficult for content creators to create anything at all. So you have these certain channels, right? If you have over 100,000 subscribers to your channel, you can go to YouTube's studios and you can shoot your shows or your podcasts from their studios. But a lot of these new content creators don't have the ability to...
Esau's getting desperate. If you brothers remember, a couple of months ago, in order to live stream, you had to have 1,000 subscribers, and a lot of brothers don't have a lot of subscribers on their pages. So then we found a new way to do it through StreamYard. So now Esau has to come up with another way to further stifle this word. Oh, your channels aren't commercially viable. We can't advertise on it.
Grow channels the way that they used to. And so the whole thing is gamed specifically for larger channels with large followings who create the kind of content that YouTube likes. They like gaming content. They like makeup tutorials. They like, like fun, silly stuff. Anything silly.
Bullshit. It's okay to post videos of Jake being ignorant and twerking, but when we post videos showing Jake the right way to live, oh, now it's a problem. When we show Jake that you're not just niggers, spics, and tontos, oh, you're a domestic terrorist, you're a black identity extremist, you're a racist.
Serious, anything newsworthy, anything that challenges the status quo, YouTube wants it gone.
They like that little boy that does all the toys. Ryan.
Kids who open boxes.
They like
love
Ryan.
That stuff. Yes.
Now, back to the same argument that you and I have discussed over and over about Facebook, about YouTube.
That's right.
Is it a publisher or is it something else?
Right. Well, is it a publisher or is it a platform? If it's a platform, then you don't have the right to remove everyone from your platform, right? You are creating the platform. And I think you can make an ethical argument that says, even if you are a platform and someone is creating content that is not commercially viable, the terms of service for YouTube have never been, can you make us money?
Yeah.
Essentially, what you're saying as YouTube now is that not only are we the lords of this space, right, but we're essentially creating a tax system, a taxation system, where if you create content that we deem as worthless or not valuable to us, we'll remove you and make room for someone else. Who does it harm for a content creator to be on there and not be able to make money?
Right. What if you're another 5-year-old that's not Ryan,
right,
and is unboxing presents or whatever,
and people don't watch your videos? And what does that cost YouTube? It doesn't cost YouTube anything. So what this really is about, it's not about the people who are unboxing or who don't make money. It's about the next step in the demonetization strategy that says, first we demonetize information that we don't like, and the next thing we'll do is say, you're not commercially viable, so it doesn't sound like they're politically biased, and they remove you for that reason, when in fact, they're actually removing you because corporate overlords are saying to YouTube, we want them gone.
Yeah.
Corporate overlords, i.e. these elites. Here's a quote from Jay Rockefeller, which sums it up perfectly. The internet should have never existed. It's a threat to national security. Really, it's a threat to Edomite security and supremacy, because again, this word is bringing down Esau-Edom's system. And you Edomites can't do anything about it. You're only further fulfilling prophecy, and the elect are going to be seeing you very soon.
It is always a slippery slope, and you and I are always talking about this. I feel like it's never going to end.
Always waving the flag.
I was going, wait a minute, that's not
right.
okay.
Yep.
Like, what if my kid wants to have a channel?
Let him have it.
Just let him have it, YouTube. Yeah. All right, we'll leave it right there. Ben Swan, appreciate your insights. Thank you.
Manila, thanks.
This is Amos chapter 8, verse 11 through 12. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh, the famine of the word, when this word is no longer going to be on the internet, and the men of the Lord are no longer going to be on the highways and byways. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yahweh, and shall not find it. So to you sincere Akim out there, it's imperative that you drink from these rivers of living waters while you still can, because we can clearly see that Esau Edom's turning up the heat to take this word away. And you don't want to end up like these boneheaded 2/3 out here who have been bullshitting this whole time while they had liberty to find the word. When Jacob's trouble really pops off, they're going to be running around like chickens with their heads cut off looking for the word, but won't be able to find it. So they're going to have to take whatever comes their way. And now I'm going to close it out. In 2nd Esdras chapter 5, I'm going to start at verse 9. And salt waters shall be found in the sweet, and all friends shall destroy one another during these upcoming race wars, civil wars, a state of martial law, an economic collapse, you name it. It's going to be complete anarchy and pandemonium out here. Everybody's going to be for themselves. Then shall wit hide itself, and understanding withdraw itself into his secret chamber, that famine of the word, and shall be sought of many, and yet not be found. Then shall unrighteousness and incontinency be multiplied upon the earth. One land also shall ask another, and say, Is righteousness that maketh a man righteous gone through thee? And it shall say, No. At the same time shall men hope, but nothing obtain. They shall labor, but their ways shall not prosper. Since they can't find the word, they're going to hearken unto anything that will be able to save them, but it's all going to be for naught. They're going to be at the mercy of the elements out here. These pandemics, these famines, these martial law troops, these NATO troops, and ultimately those nuclear missiles. So with this video, I hope you sincere Akim are edified. You can clearly see the signs of the times, so you should be acting accordingly, getting this word while you still can. And as always, I'm going to say Abba Ball, Kwam Yasharala. Till next time, Shalom.